One. Howdy, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Follow the Leader. I'm your host, Lee Larson, and from Billings, Montana, folks, I bring you Beth Caldwell. Welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, this is so exciting. Folks, Beth Caldwell runs, owns, manages, is BC Beauty. She's an esthetician. She's a skincare consultant expert, and she is speaking at the Montana Women's Leadership Conference put on by Junior League Billings next Friday. And she's speaking on creating the life she loves and how you can do it too. So we're going to talk about all these things. We're going to talk about Beth's background. We're going to talk about some cool esthetician skincare tips that from the expert, right? Like, yes, you might be watching on TikTok or YouTube, but we have her. She's here to tell us what's up. And then we're going to talk about what it means to build the life you love and empower women along the way. Beth, wow, thank you for being here. You're a rock star. Tell me, first of all, you're an esthetician. You look great. Skin looks great. You're walking advertisement of your own services. But before we get there, can you let us know, who are you? Where are you from? What's your background?
So I am born and raised Montana. I'm originally from Forsyth, Montana, which is just east of Billings. And so I grew up there. It's a small town, small community. So, and my parents still live there. My aunt and uncle still live there. So I still have a huge connection with being there. So I really love that. And I have 3 siblings, and I moved to Billings. Originally I got into aesthetics and skincare because I started selling Mary Kay right out of high school. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life or where I was going. So I had like a lot of jobs right out of high school. I worked at a gas station. I worked at the movie theater. I taught dance. I sold Mary Kay. And I think there was a 5th one that I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, and when I was doing Mary Kay, I realized that I couldn't touch people because they don't encourage that. And so my friend at the time was going to cosmetology school, and she said, you can become an esthetician and you can touch people. So I originally wanted to do makeup. That's, I guess, how this all started. And then when I got into my career and got into doing the makeup side of it, I hated it because that's when like the internet was becoming really big, and everyone was, because TikTok wasn't a thing then, but YouTube and Pinterest. And so people could go and find all these tips. And at the time I was doing skincare, body waxing, pedicures, spray tanning, makeup, like just the list goes on in the world of aesthetics. So I was not really good at any one thing. And then people were coming to me and wanted their makeup done, but they'd already been on Pinterest. They'd already been researching and doing all this stuff, and I was only kind of skimming the surface, and so it was really overwhelming. So I got away from the makeup side of it, and I just focusing more now on the skincare side of it.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate you talking about your family and Forsyth, and for folks who aren't familiar, who might not know Montana too well, Montana is rural, like overall, like and so Forsyth is one of our smaller towns. It's farming, it's ag, rural, just like a lot of folks. But what I'm hearing from your story is that you're scrappy. Like, you know how to hustle, you know how to put things together, you know how to keep yourself alive. That there is already something like you're a tough woman, and it's funny to hear this scrappy, tough resilience, like, rural kind of paints one picture. But actually, there's no one set look of what that looks like. You can be scrappy and tough and coming right off the farm and know how, quote, the real world is, and be like, you know what? It's still worthy of having beautiful skin and knowing how to present yourself with makeup tips and the right makeup. And I just think that's really beautiful what you're embodying there. There's no one way.
Yeah, there is no one way. And also being from Montana, being from a small town, Montana, I'm actually like as city as it gets, because I don't come from a farm. I don't come from a ranch. I've never really ridden a horse. Actually, horses kind of freak me out. But I don't have any experience with any of that. And like I said, pretty city, I use in quotes, from being such a small state that I don't have a lot of experience with that stuff.
Well, And it's and whether you're out, knee deep in manure or something, it's the culture of hustle, I think,
Yeah.
is what you're bringing, and making things work, and bringing things together. And when you look at makeup, you talked about how people were coming in online. Was it with styles that you weren't familiar with, you didn't like? How has online impacted your work and trying to be the expert while also, trying to give clients what they want and what might be trendy?
Right. That is a great question. So at the beginning of my career, I graduated from high school in 2004, and then I worked all those jobs that I mentioned for about a year, and then I moved to Billings in 2005 and started going to school. And then, so it was all, pretty not as internet-y then. And then, when the makeup trends really started happening is people wanted to have that perfect smoky eye or that perfect, um, that was really like it, like the eye makeup. And so that was really challenging with the makeup side of it. But now into the skincare side of it, with trying to keep up with trends, I just knew that I had to stay in my lane and be good at what I want to do. So I focus more on like high touch and creating a whole experience. And I actually call it a full body facial experience because it's not just focusing on skincare. It's coming in, and I'm in my room now, in my treatment room. So the light wall behind me is part of the whole ambiance. And so it's focusing on skincare and how you can treat your skin and how it can be the best it can be with not having to do a lot of trends, I guess, for lack of a better word, or a lot of specific modalities, I guess, like lasers and things of that nature. It's more focusing on what you have and how to embrace it and make it better. So,
So, well, talk about what that might look like. So give me an example of a client experience or engagement that you've had with someone recently.
so it's from beginning to end, people come in, and I work out of a salon. So this is just the room that I work out of. So I try to greet people and have them come in and talk to them about what a full body facial experience is. So it's focusing on high touch, which is massage. So I do during the first mask, I do a scalp massage, and then I look at the skin and do a face and neck and décolleté massage. And then I do the second mask, and we talk about what their goals are, what they would like, where they're headed, what trends they have seen, what they're curious about, kind of what I try to get a full picture. And I always encourage people to, I was like, there's no wrong answers. If you just use water, that's fantastic too. Whatever. I'm just trying to get a full picture of what your skincare routine looks like, how much time you want to spend on it, things of that nature, I guess.
Yeah.
So we spend the consultation for a new client is probably 20 to 30 minutes, and I allot for that time. So when I tell people what time to be here, I already have blocked out the time that I need so that I'm not feeling rushed and they're not feeling rushed. I really want them to feel heard. So my statement, when people ask what I do for a living, I tell them I create an environment for women to relax and be heard through a full body facial experience, focusing on skincare and a comfortable space for body waxing. Because, and I say it like that, is because it really grasps people's attention. They're like, wait, what? What are you even saying right now? Like, this is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
And I really intentionally say the word heard because I think as females and as women, we are always making space for everyone else. And so no one has, with kids and husbands and family and everything, we never really get the opportunity to just sit and vent and talk about ourselves. And so that was really something that I wanted to create with this experience. And so that's why the consultation lasts so long too, because I want to know what's going on with them? What's happening?
Yeah.
What is this? What are we doing here today? So, and then I walk them through what the experience is. Like I said, I always start with, heated. Everything in the experience is heated. So I always ask if they want heat. And I start with people's feet first. And a lot of people don't like their feet touched, which is also a very interesting experience too. And I get it. And it's, again, it's all about the person that's in the room. I don't want to enforce you to do anything that you do not want to do. And so I always try to make it as comfortable as possible, which with the body waxing part, I'm kind of all over the board here. Sorry. Well, walk with me down this path of every which way I'm going.
Oh, you're doing great because there's so many services. There's so many things to cover.
So with the body waxing, I also stress the comfortable space because you need to be able to be with someone that, you're going to be exposed. You're going to take your clothes off. You're going to, because I wax ears, nose, toes, and everywhere in between. And so I want females specifically to feel comfortable with the space that they're in and where they're at. So I try to make everything as luxurious as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what they're looking for. I mean, and that in itself, like providing the space, the ambiance, the lighting, the behind you, it's all, like you said, it's healing. You're, and what I like about your biography is you talk about what you're doing as a form of empowerment. You're giving a woman a space to say, like, no, this time is for me. I'm going into a space that's safe and nice and healing. They hear me, they listen to me, and I'm going to come out feeling I was heard and also more beautiful. That's it's an amazing, and that's what you almost have to address that.
Yep. So my company is called BC Beauty, and it's the BC actually stands for because. So my tagline is because you deserve it. But then when I got married, my last name turned to Caldwell, so now it works with Beth Caldwell as well. But that isn't actually how it started. It started because you deserve it. Mm-hmm. So that's what.
Well, and that's great that it worked out with the Beth Caldwell and the marriage.
I know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you must, because the other thing is when women come in for this type of service, there are insecurities that they're bringing in and hardships and not wanting to really feel comfortable verbalizing, hey, I have hair in between this area. What does it look like? Is it just you? Do you have a team? What does your service look like?
So it is just me. Like I said, I rent a room, this room specifically, out of a salon here in Billings. I have actively chosen as part of the life that I love that we're going to get into a little bit later, but that I am exactly where I want to be in my life, because I have the freedom and space to create the schedule that I want because I am an entrepreneur. I am my own business owner, but I'm just of one. I don't have a team. I don't have anyone. And I considered growing a team, and I considered being all I can be, I guess, with a full service salon and being the owner and running all of it. But I just decided that for the work-life balance and the life that I love and the life that I want to create, I'm a lot happier being where I am with just myself working directly with my clients. Because when you start to build and when you start to grow your business, it becomes more about your employees and you working on the business and keeping your employees happy, doing all that, instead of actually doing the part that I love, which is working directly with the clients and helping them create the life that they love.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I understand that. That's, you're not the first woman to say that was like, I'm not interested in climbing some imaginary corporate, not even corporate, but just money. Like, this isn't that. Like, I believe in what I want to do, and I believe in the integrity. You seem very intentional with your work and being able to directly control the product, the service. It's how you ensure that the clients are getting the best care.
Yeah. So that is the goal too, is is being very hands-on, being very involved with the people. Because I am an extreme people person. So I want to meet and be around everyone. Because you never know what you're going to learn or what you're going to experience and I appreciate that so much. And so when you become the CEO, we'll say, which it is, it's about the business now. It's not about the people. It's not about being present with so many different people coming from so many different places, experiencing so many different parts of life.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And needing different things and having different approaches. Can you talk about, we spoke on this briefly, but when we talk about trends and people coming in, there's all sorts of stuff on the internet about what you should and should not do for your skin. Can you tell us a few things that you have seen along the way? Like, are people over exfoliating or under, just kind of see what you have seen or concerns that online skincare trends have raised for you?
So I'm learning as I go that there's no blanket statement for anyone is really how it works. So it's really hard when people are saying like, you have to do this to get this, or you have to do that to have this. Well, that doesn't work for this skin type or this skin person or this. It's hard with those blanket statements. So I think the biggest thing is that villainizing oil, like oil as a moisturizer, oil on our skin, oil, all of that, because our skin cannot heal itself correctly or at all if it is not properly moisturized and at its fullest integrity. So especially with acne clients, I see this the most. And I don't have a ton of acne clients, but I have a lot of mothers that have children that have acne, and they just want to they want to villainize the oil. It's bad. Like, get this oil off, get the oil off, get the oil off. But when you're doing that, it can get rid of the acne also, but it's not putting your skin in the integrity to heal, to fight the acne and the damage that the acne can do. And so sometimes it's working, but it's not a long-term solution. Really, our skin needs to be the happiest that it can be, especially in Montana, because it's so dry here, is being moisturized. Like, the more moisture, the better. You can't have enough moisturizer, honestly. And I don't follow a ton of trends on the socials, and I don't have a ton of people that come to me. It's where I'm at in my career now is a lot of referrals. So it's a lot of friends referring their friends to come and have this amazing experience. And so they also usually, not always, are on the same trend of all that stuff, like finding and following and embracing all the things. Yeah. So it's a lot of starting at the beginning and just focusing on using a good cleanser and using a good moisturizer. And I am, like I said, I'm an advocate for oil. I think everyone in Montana should be using oil on their face and on their body everywhere. I use oil. I use it in my hair. I'm all about the oil. And then some people it's a little bit more convincing for people because it just feels counterintuitive, especially with acne, because you want to dry it out. And so the oil is the enemy, and that's not necessarily true.
Right. That's brilliant. Yeah, I like that you said you can't be too moisturized in Montana, because that is the thing. Like, sometimes I'm like, did I put on too much, or did I do and the answer is no.
No. Always more. And I tell people too, if their skin is exceptionally dry, I'm like, every time you walk by the lotion or the oil, put it on your face, put it on your hands, put it on wherever you need, put it in your hair, wherever you need it. I'm like, you can't get enough moisture in Montana.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And I'm sure not water too. I have to be drinking a whole lot more water. Inside
and out. Yes.
Wow.
And it's funny when people come from humid climates too, like Florida, anywhere in the South. And they're like, what is happening? It is so dry here. How am I functioning? Like, I cannot. And I was like, yeah, just more. More is more.
Well, I know that you talked about how makeup's not your number one go-to, but I'm sure you also do quite a bit. You've talked about waxing. Do you do eyelashes and eyebrow shaping?
I do eyebrow waxing. I haven't gotten into lamination or anything like that. So where I'm at in my career again, so I'm going to be 21 years in the business in June.
Good for you.
And so, thank you. And so I have a pretty solid base and clientele. And that's not to say that to get stagnant or not try new things. But for me, where I'm at, when the more new things I try and bring in is it's more overhead and it's more of a learning curve. And so it can be a little bit more challenging. So I haven't gone into a lot of things like lamination, but I can do brow waxing, brow shaping. I can help you work with the brows that you have. And then body waxing. And I forgot what else you asked me.
Oh no, no, that was just kind of like eyelashes, I think is
Oh,
another
eyelashes.
one I
Yes.
asked.
That I did want to touch on that as well. So when I started booth running for the first time in 2011, I think is when I went out on my own. I had taken over a clientele that already had lash extensions. So I got into it. It is overwhelming. It is a lot, but the people that are doing it are amazing. And props to them. So I got into it, hated it, did a lot of training, got good at it, was okay with it, and then decided I also still hated it. It just wasn't, it's just not for me. It's just hard. You're working on such a small area with the lashes themselves and then attaching a tiny lash to a tiny lash. I mean, we're talking millimeters. And then it's in a wet part of your body and it's hard to keep dry. We touch our face, our eyes, all the things all the time. So it's hard to guarantee. It was just a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, because I want everything to be as perfect as they can be, which with living the life that I love, I'm trying to step away from that mentality, because life is not perfect. Nothing is perfect, but it just put a lot of extra stress and pressure on me that I was like, I think not lash extensions. But other people love it, and I love that for them. And they only do lash extensions, and it's their favorite. And I'm like, yes, please take all of these people that I have and do lash extensions because it's not for me.
Yeah, absolutely not. Well, what does it look like to treat women across ages? Whether it's someone maybe in their 30s or maybe someone elderly. What are the kind of skin concerns that they might have? Do they differ?
Oh, that is a great question. Yes, they do differ. Anti-aging is always number one on everyone. It doesn't matter if they're 15 or unfortunately, or if they're 75, like everybody, that's their main concern. But I think it's kind of about controlling moisture and trying to get the most moisture in, because the younger clients, again, they want to fight the oil and the shiny and that's what they're working towards, is trying to get away from that, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the older clients, they want more moisture and they just want to look the best they can. Everyone just wants to look the best they can. So I guess as I am explaining it, I guess there's not a ton of difference between the generations. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of all the same. Everyone's kind of all looking for the same thing. But
Well, that's what I was like. It sometimes I'm like, I'll look at it. It's like for mature skin, and I'm like, well, wait, what does that mean? I don't know if there's anything peculiar.
Those are just all terms, so that you're not saying older, I guess.
Right.
So it's just marketing that says,
okay.
It's just a nicer way of saying, you're old, you should use this, I guess.
It is marketing. Yeah. Yes, it absolutely is. I just didn't know if there was something like real to that. Like if I don't know if there were certain ingredients that were better for mature skin and what that meant for someone who is, 30, 40, 50, I don't know. But
so, like I said, I struggle with blanket statements, with just saying like, this is what you should be using. This is it. This is all of it. I think, like I said, I want to get a full picture of goals, of sensitivities, of medication. Like all of that is a factor with how your skin integrity is. And so depending on what you're using currently, what you've been prescribed, if you're using any prescription skincare slash like retinol or Retin-A, if you're on any certain medications that can affect like light like UV out in the sun, that can affect your skin, that can affect your sensitivity, that can affect the oil production naturally that your skin is producing. So you have to account for all that, because like Retin-A and retinol is created from Retin-A, which is an active ingredient that is pretty much the most powerhouse ingredient for fighting fine lines and wrinkles and things of that nature. But with that, it can create a lot of sensitivities and really break down the integrity of your natural skin, like what we've kind of been talking about. So when you're using those products, you have to counteract that with a lot more moisturizer, oil, things like that, because everything you're trying to prevent is working, but at the detriment of other parts of your skin. Like your skin's going to look the best when it's the most moisturized. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think, yes, Retin-A, retinol is going to be a great product for a lot of people. But like I said, there's just a lot of variables that go into that. You can't just say everyone have it, everyone use it. And also there's a lot of different levels of that, like a different concentration of how much you're using. So sometimes you have to ease into it. You could only use it like maybe every other day, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe every other day, morning and night. So I really am trying to work with people to get a full picture, to understand what is going to work best for them and what they want to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for that. When you talk about something like retinol and it doesn't mesh well with us, I've seen that too, of people wanting all the things. So they put it in their skincare routine, not knowing that some of those things cancel one another out. Can you talk about, you really emphasize oil and moisturizers. Can you give us a few examples of brands or just either, products that you really like?
So the skincare line that I have is actually private labeled, and it is BC Beauty. So of course I recommend the BC Beauty line. I work with a woman-owned company out of Bozeman, actually, and her company line is Ray Cherchez, and it's Hillary Ladd, and so that's where I get BC Beauty from. And so we work together, and it's amazing, and I love it. So in the moisturizers in that line, I have 3 different ones. Is the squalene oil, which is the lightest oil that I have, and it absorbs pretty quickly. It comes from a plant, and I don't know a ton about squalene now that we're having this conversation too. Honestly, I thought we were going to talk more about the women's conference than about my business.
Oh, we can definitely do that. No, it's all good.
So I was like, oh my God, you're like asking me all these really in-depth questions, which I do know the answers to this. Yeah, so let me go back. Let me rewind a little. I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, now that you're asking me like all these really specific skincare questions, I'm like, oh shoot, I was not preparing for that.
I'm so sorry.
Every day. So now I'm probably shooting myself in the foot because I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's chaos. But I do. So squalene oil is the lightest, and that's the one I recommend the most for acne clients and for teenagers and for anyone that is trying oil for the first time, because it's not as overwhelming of an oil as, so the next one in the line is argan. Argan oil comes from a nut, and it is, what am I trying to say? Oh, it has an abundance of vitamin E, and it is also antibacterial and antimicrobial. So it's not trapping any of those bacteria or anything in the face. So that's the one I actually use daily everywhere. So that's the oil specifically I use. Another thing I was just thinking about, side note, I know, follow me down this random path, is I try to stay like really unbiased. So I'm always weird about, not weird, but I, think twice about wanting to say a specific brand or a specific thing, because it feels like, you just want to say, again, like blanket statements, like just use oil, just use. And so now I have to consciously think about how and what I want to say, because, because I am going to promote like argan and squalene and hydrating oil. And yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready.
No, I think I didn't know that about squalene and argan oil.
Yeah. And so there's one more. I know I just had a random thought in my brain that I needed to
Yeah.
share. My friend makes fun of me because she's like, yeah, I was practicing my speech in front of her, which I'm down another rabbit hole. Please follow me. And she's like, and I would just put in random thoughts, and my other friend was like, what is going on? And she said, yeah, she just had a thought and she wrote it down and she said it out loud. So we're just following her down her rabbit hole of thoughts right now. And I was like, I know, I gotta stay on track. Sorry.
Right.
Okay. So argan oil is fantastic. It's the middle moisturizer. I reckon that one's like the most like everyday oil that I use it in my hair. So on hair washing day, I work it through my scalp everywhere, and then I leave it for about a half an hour to an hour, and then I wash it out. So then you're getting the benefit of healing your scalp. So you're moisturizing your scalp regularly, and then also all your new hair growth and all of your hair. So I'm messing with my hair.
Wow.
And so I use that as my daily moisturizer. I use it in my hair. I use it as my makeup remover as well, just on my eyes. And then I use it all over my body after I put my lotion on as well. So argan is just all of it. Hydrating oil is a combination. That's the thickest oil that I have now. So hydrating oil is a combination of squalene, argan, and it has raspberry, blackberry, and blueberry seed oils in it as well. So you're getting the benefits of the antioxidants from those specific oils, the berry oils. Plus, they all have their own special uniqueness that they're bringing to the oil itself. So, because I think one of them is like anti-inflammatory. And so it works on the skin as well. Like blueberries are anti-inflammatory in your body. And so I think it works on your skin as well. And then because I have done a couple posts with the hydrating oil, and so I know all those oils have lots of benefits, but it's hard to pull out as we're having this conversation and you're asking me about specific things, to pull out like specific ingredients and specific things. Yeah, like off the top of my head, I'm like, oh,
It's
God.
all good. I just didn't know if you saw any that you were like, do not do that. Like,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
Not,
But
not
that's
really. Yeah, I don't really follow, honestly, a lot of skincare stuff because I try. I mean, I
It's
do.
good
Okay,
that you
let me
don't.
rephrase that. That just see, I told you I'm just gonna go down these rabbit holes of chaos.
No, it's
Um,
all good.
I do follow a lot of trends, but it becomes so overwhelming because it is. It's
Yeah,
like, should
it
I do this?
does.
Should I not do this? And being in the industry and being involved and seeing a lot of different skin, I even question what I know and what's going on when people are like definitely saying this is it, this is the thing.
Yeah.
And so it becomes even overwhelming for me. So on my time away from when I'm not doing education, I do try to stay up on a lot of education. I'm involved with a couple different aesthetic training programs that are all online that I can go back and rewatch videos. And so I am working towards always being the best I can be and putting my best foot forward for the people that are coming to see me. But I really try to avoid trends.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, thank you so much for spending quite a bit of time just kind of fleshing out your background and esthetician skincare work, BC Beauty. It's really just lovely what you're providing for women in Billings. Let's shift and talk about next week's conference. So next week you are speaking on creating the life you love and living it. Talk about the motivate. How did you come up with that message? I know that you're embodying it, but yeah, talk about your speech next week.
So I have always wanted to be a public speaker, and every time I see a public speaker, I'm like, I want to do that so bad. So and for a long time, my mentality was that usually people have a platform and they already have an idea and then they become a public speaker because they have to get their message out. So then the more people I told that to, they're like, that's not necessarily true. Like if you want to be on stage, you can be on stage. So how I came up with creating the life I love and actually living it is, as an entrepreneur, I still get in that should mentality. Like I should be open these certain hours. I should work this time. I should. And so decided that when you become an entrepreneur or when you get into business for yourself, you really want to work with your schedule. You're like, I did this so I could have the schedule that I want. But now I feel guilty taking time off or not, doing this because I need to work or do what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's like, yeah, I should be able to stop doing this or stop working for a second so I can do what I want to do. So I really like was embodying that, like creating the life I love and actually living in it, not just like talking about it in the sense that, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, so I make my own schedule. Well, no, I want to actually make the schedule that I have and that I'm doing. So I work later in the day. So I usually my first appointments are between 11 and 12, depending on if I'm washing my hair or not. And the rest of my schedule. And then I work till 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. at night, just depending again on, and because most of my clientele work a full-time job, like 8 to 5. So I need the 4 o'clock hour, like 4 to 7 is the busiest time. Like those those are way booked out. And so then I decided that I can have I am a morning person anyway, so I can have more of a morning routine and then not go to work until later in the day. It's not always a popular opinion because especially people with young kids, because their daycare or their preschools are usually like 8 to noon, 8 to 1, 7:30 to 1, so things of that nature. So that is, so people don't always love that I don't take morning appointments, or they're getting their day started after 11 too, so it's easier for them if they can come in earlier. But I just know that I have a busier time in the afternoon. So I wanted to be able to make the schedule that I want by not working till 11 or 12.
Yeah.
So that's part of creating the life I love.
Yeah, well, it's choosing your own hours. It's and like you said, having kids, not having kids, that is the empowering part of it. Is that you get to decide what it is going on for you. When you talk about, I have both your website and your bio here. There's I liked how you worded earlier when we were talking about your scrappiness. That there's just no right way. There's no singular way of what that looks like. And even to be a small business owner in Montana, you don't have to have that deep capitalist drive to go one day have the multi-million-dollar brand. You don't have to lose your life because you have invested so much. Yeah, early on it's going to take a lot to build, but it is your business, and I really appreciate you and your voice. Go ahead.
So some of the points that I'm like trying to drive home with my talk specifically is embracing your own unique gifts and trying to create a life around that, knowing that maybe it goes against societal norms. Like we've actively chosen not to have children. I don't have children. And so I'm able to embrace my gifts a little bit differently. But again, I'm not trying to say that's the way to do it. Again, I really want to show a different perspective and a different way through my life, through my experiences, through the work that I've done on myself by going to all these conferences and seeing public speakers and doing all this stuff to help people want to maybe take a step back and look at the life that they're living. Are they actually living it? And we're going to have seasons in our lives that are harder and challenging, and like when you're building, when you're grinding, when it's a lot, and life throws crazy things in our way. But at the end of the day, like, are you still trying to find reasons to celebrate and reasons to be positive and the silver lining in all of it, which in the moment, again, depending on what that moment is, sometimes it's hard to find any of that. But I just want to encourage people. I just want to inspire people, I guess, to think about their lives as a whole and not just in this kind of like what you said, like corporate grind, like climbing that ladder, trying to be is that going to be fulfilling at the end of the day when you have all the money?
Right, right. Well, I am so thankful for you coming on and hanging out with me today. For folks that want to, learn more or book your services, where do they go?
I have a website, bcbeauty.biz. It's all the B's. My email is beth@bcbeauty.biz, so it's even more the B's. And then I'm on the socials on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah.
Oh, that is so awesome. Well, I really hope that I can use your services sometime when I'm down in Billings. That is amazing. We'll have to do like a little video or something. But
Oh, cool.
Beth,
Yeah. I'm not the best at the socials.
oh, it's all. But folks, that was Beth Caldwell out of Billings, Montana, of BC Beauty, as the esthetician and skincare. She'll be speaking next Friday at the Junior League Billings Conference for Women's Leadership in Montana. And she'll be talking about creating a life she loves, and you can do it too. And Beth, thank you again for hanging out with me today. You are a bundle of joy, such great energy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Folks, that wraps up the end of the episode. Let me know what you thought. Do you have any questions, concerns, comments, feedback? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and remember to go check out BC Beauty for your skincare needs. Folks, thank you again for hanging out with me. I'm your host, Lee Larson, and this was another episode of Follow the Leader. And until next time, see ya. Cool.